This is the story of David, a poor young man from a small village in the English countryside. He lived with his old and sick mother Margaret in a broken little cottage. Poverty had crushed their lives sometimes. They had no food, sometimes no medicine. One day, David's uncle Richard came to visit. He was known for his cunning ways. Richard told them about a wealthy lady in the city who needed a helper for her big mansion. Food and lodging would be free, and he would even get paid. Margaret, with tears in her eyes, told her son, "Go, my child. Maybe this is your chance. Perhaps God has written a better future for you there." With a heavy heart, David left his mother and traveled with his uncle to the city. When he arrived at the mansion, he was stunned. It was not a house, but a palace, tall walls, shining lights, expensive cars. At the door stood the owner, Catherine Walker, a young, beautiful, wealthy widow. She looked like a queen, dressed in silk and jewels, but her eyes carried pride and hidden loneliness. David began his work, cleaning, polishing shoes, washing clothes, running errands. He worked tirelessly, never complaining. Every night, Catherine would leave for glamorous parties, returning late, often drunk and exhausted. David watched silently, but inside his heart, something began to burn. The attraction towards this woman, who seemed far above his reach. One night, Catherine returned from a party, stumbling in intoxication. She collapsed on her bed. David, holding her food tray, stood by her door, torn between fear and desire. His conscience screamed, "Don't do this, walk away." But his weakness defeated him. He stepped inside and crossed a line he could never take back. The next morning, Catherine, with a headache, only asked for tea. She had no idea what had happened, but David's heart was shattered. He knew. He had betrayed his mother's prayers and his own faith. He told himself it was a mistake and would never happen again. But it did, again and again. Catherine's loneliness, David's weakness, and the mansion's silence kept pulling him back into the same sin. Weeks later, Catherine began to feel sick and weak. A doctor came and gave the shocking news. "You're expecting a child." Her world collapsed. A child without marriage? How could this be? Panic took over. In rage and shame, Catherine called the police. David was arrested. News reached the village. Margaret rushed to the police station, leaning on her stick, tears streaming down. When she saw her son in handcuffs, her heart broke. With trembling hands, she slapped him and cried, "Shame on you, David. I sent you to the city to be an honest man, not to destroy someone's honor and your own soul." David stood silently, eyes lowered, tears of regret falling. But it was too late. Catherine's life too was ruined. Once the center of every party, now she was mocked as an unwed mother. A baby came into her arms, but along with it peace, dignity, and respect were all taken away. This was not just the tragedy of David and Catherine. It was the death of Margaret's dreams for her son, and the bitter ending of Catherine's illusions about her glamorous life. The lesson remains: sin may bring a moment of pleasure, but in the end it leaves only destruction, shame and tears.